I can hear how passionate you are. Obviously, there's not all white people who are holding that view. I think it's important to, if there are some speaking on Twitter, it is some speaking on Twitter. But it's not all white people who hold that view. That's a fact. But I think you're raising some important things. In fact, when you say that people must be taught history, I'm talking here in the context of mostly children. But if you're an adult, you are my age, if you are in your late 20s, early 30s from there on, and you still haven't done your part to understand the history of this country, I don't take you seriously. Whether you're black, whether you're white, what kind of children are you going to raise when you have no appreciation of where this country comes from, when you have no appreciation of the remnants of that colonial system, of that apartheid system we live under now? So I often struggle with that a lot, where people come across as if they don't even understand the kind of legislation that is in place now and what it was intended to do because of what happened before. Because we're not on the same playing field. When people don't understand the basics like that, when you've not done enough to go and read, because you are old now, the responsibility is on you. We can't talk curriculum to teach you. We're talking about your children now that are in school. The responsibility is on you now as an adult to go do your own reading. This country with a painful past. You cannot just live and go on a day-to-day. There's so many complexities, so many dynamics that are a result of where we come from. It's important that you understand that. It's important that you teach your children about that. Norman, you're calling us from Marentia. Good morning.
Hi, thank you so much. I feel that our pupils at school should be taught a balanced perspective of global history, including an Afrocentric and global basis. Give them an appreciation of what happens. History doesn't happen in silos. History is influenced by forces and events on the global stage as well.
Super Kashi country.
On a global basis, they're clueless, Clement. They're clueless. If we want to produce well-rounded peoples who understand the forces of history, local, domestic,
and global,
give them an understanding, and to become so focused on a particular part of history, to the extent that you are minimizing what happens elsewhere, it possibly distorts.
Yes, true. And of course, history, the events that are interconnected, right, in the explanation and the understanding of our history. You're right, it's got to be balanced. It's got to be balanced. We need to understand the global dynamics, how that influenced what happens in our local dynamics. We need to understand what happened after the global dynamics influence the local dynamics. We need children that are going to be able to be global citizens. Children that have appreciation of history. But it's also important for us to understand who is telling that history. Because as I said to you earlier, now that I'm older and I've done my own independent reading, I realize how distorted some of the history we were taught is or was. I realize that now that I'm older. Because who was writing that history? What was their intention? It's 12 minutes now before 10 o'clock. When we come back, more of your calls in WhatsApp. Skoketso, TT, Malibongwe, Tato. I'll start with your calls after this.
To your journal, Trying to be an Adult Day, 3702. Therapy session 1 is in the bag. Turns out I'm a big-time overthinker. This is epic news. I wasn't aware there were other types of thinking available.
Finally learning about mental health. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 90 rand a day, so it's 100% insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insure Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
I've got an idea of how to be a mother, but I've got no idea of how to be a father. You know, being a traffic officer, Dion was doing routine check. Someone intoxicated. He knocked Dion over and he dragged him. We were robbed. My daughter asked me, Mommy was going to give me away on our wedding day.
That was Lucian Sampson, Dion's wife.
That person's selfish decision to drink and drive forever changed our lives.
South Africa, Be Sharp, Don't Drink and Drive. An initiative by SAB Sharp, not for persons under the age of 18.
Black Friday is coming next week. Get ready for irresistible prices on the widest range of products at Discount. From Monday 25th November to Sunday 1st December. Get 2 plus 1 cheapest free on NPL Pro Lifestyle products. Buy 1 Essential Extreme, 100 capsules and get 1 free. And buy 3 USN Creatine products and get the cheapest free. T's and C's apply. Don't miss out. Save big next week with Discount's Black Friday. Better health starts here.
This festive season, 702 and Spar's delivery app Spar to You are delivering the Christmas like no other and granting wishes from Spar to You with love. Let's rock the community in cheer and create a Christmas filled with generosity. Do you know a friend, family member or organization in need? Go to primemediaplus.com and share their story. You could bring a smile with 6,000 Rand in Spar vouchers thanks to Spar to You, delivering everything you need this festive season. Let's make this Christmas like no other. From Spar to You with love, 702. TCs and more on primemediaplus.com. 702.
Call Clemens
On 011
883
0702.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Keleto, we're calling from Jamestown. Good morning. Sure, man. Go ahead.
When it comes to Bantu people being painted as if they're invaders. Because the point is that there can be no invader or foreigner in Africa. Because as much as we would have moved from East and West Africa and then we came down, we are still on the continent and therefore we are not invaders. I mean, even with Europe, the history of Europe is a history of war. The white people were fighting each other for the longest of times and they invaded all the land and they were moving there. But no way does that make them less white, but they are still European, so we can't be foreigners in Africa. And I do concur with the fact that the curriculum has to be revised because yes, I was born in the year 2000 and certainly I did learn about Marumo, but that was the only memory I have of pre-colonial history. I mean, even in 1852, the distortion, because even the guys, the young countries, they were not the first whites to come. The Portuguese actually came and sailed here way before them. And even with the Cape was known as the Cape of Storm. And it was originally named by the Portuguese in 1480 by Bartolomeo Diaz. But that was not a nice name to attract people, so they changed it to the Cape of Good Hope. And our history is so rich and colorful. We talk about Mapungubwe, and how many of the ancient or current cultures that we have, we can trace our lineage to that place. We talk about things like Mwana Mutapa, Great Zimbabwe, the Zulu Empire, and how we actually came down from the east and the many colorful stories that we can tell. And I also found that when I was in high school, because I only took history up until grade 10, there was a heavy emphasis on World War II. I feel it's a beautiful history, World War II about it and all, but there's more to that, and the history as it is now, if you are not an independent thinker and someone who would like to learn more and read more, then you won't find out. So the curriculum has to be set up in such a way that it would encourage these kids to bring the information to them, because if they don't speak it, then they won't know it. So we need to inculcate that spirit of wanting to learn. And for me, there's no such thing as African history or European history. I would like to look at history as just being history.
Keleto in Jamestown, thank you for your contribution.
702
WhatsApp Clement
on 072
702
1702.
Clemmy, goeiemôre man. This is Floris here from the Western Cape. Clemmy, for me as a colored person, I've always wondered where do colored people really come from? Because before Sandra and Ribik arrived here, they were only the Bushmen, the Khoi and the San, and then the Zulus and the Xhosas. But then the Europeans start coming in. They brought slaves from Asia, and I think that's how the mixture, the intersex has started. So yeah, that should also be taught, of course, even up until today. Young kids are asking, where do colored people really fit in? Because I know that we are a hybrid nation, very intelligent because we are a mixture of a lot of genes. So yeah, that also needs to be taught in schools. Bye-bye.
Hi Ken, a lot of what I remember with history, I did history just in grade 8 and grade 9, and it was quite whitewashed. I remember that it was mostly the French Revolution, most of that, and also Jan van Riebeck stuff. I don't remember anything about apartheid. I feel like everything that I learned about apartheid and colonialism was the reading that I did for myself in my adult years, because our school didn't even offer history actually beyond grade 10, but I was doing commerce subjects, so I think an overhaul is actually quite needed. Thanks.
Yeah, listen. So much needs to be done. Isaac Mangena is the city power spokesperson. I'm going to bring him on in a moment, but let me first hear from Titi, who's calling us from Sandton. Titi, what issues do you have about this need for you guys to upgrade your meters?
Sure, Clement, sorry, man. Look, in the area in which I come from, which is in the Mutsu area, in Limpopo, the ESCOM center there is the only one that serves a lot of this, and it closes at 12.
For the upgrade?
Even yesterday closed at 12, and they insist that they're not going according to whatever people have heard on the media, but they're closing at 12. So obviously one issue, I should report them. And secondly, I want to do it for my home state, which is in Limpopo. How can I do it remotely? Can I call or can I email? Because I want to do it remotely because I can't go and stay.
Go home, yeah. Got it, Titi. I'm going to put you back to the producers. I'll get them to just ask ESCOM how you can navigate that if you want to do it remotely for your family in Limpopo, and then they'll share the information with you. Isaac Mangena is the spokesperson for City Power. Isaac, thank you for coming through at such short notice. Good morning.
Clement, and good morning to the listeners.
So I've had a number of calls from some listeners who are complaining that there's not a lot of information on the ground about these upgrades. Apparently there are some older people, the older generation, who don't necessarily have the capacity to go to the institutions where the upgrades needs to be made. What reservations have you made for the older generation who are unable to go and physically go and upgrade these meters?
Yeah, so as the city of Johannesburg, we have been on the ground doing this and assisting our customers since last year. And even the countdown clock has been up until even today is still on, just basically reminding our customers of the need to basically convert to this KRM2, because after Sunday deadline, people may not be able to vent, they may not be able to basically buy the token. So what we've been doing